another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence. And it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean. Ugh, sorry.
You doing all right?
I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
I've been getting up real early, like 4:30 in the morning early, to try to get shit done before work, which is all well and good, but by the time like 10 a.m. rolls around, like I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, I've been actually trying to do the actually waking up thing. Early.
yeah, there's a lot of times I have to come in and like poke you with like a stick.
My schedule's weird, so
Maybe I should get a stick to use.
Sure.
Poke you with it.
But I'm actually trying. I'm trying to wake up at reasonable times and enjoy my day. And get things done. And,
poke.
Yeah, again, maybe so I don't get poked.
So your wife doesn't go outside, get a stick from a tree, and poke you with it.
You could use any long object, like a broom. Yeah.
Stick.
Or you'll go out in nature and get me a
Nature's not that far. Like, we have a yard.
That's true. We do have a yard.
I could go get it, and there are sticks.
There are. We have
rock some of that kindling. I mean, we got to actually have a cold day or something so we can burn some of it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Either that or we got to throw it away. It makes me uncomfortable after all the fires.
That's true. Yeah. No, that's pretty rough. So, sorry. For some reason, I just keep thinking about those NFT apes. Because we were just listening to one of my podcasts, and they're talking about NFTs.
Well, they were talking about that guy who tweeted about losing all of his apes.
Yeah. Look, if you do NFTs, cool.
No, it's really bad for the environment. Maybe don't.
It is bad for the environment. But if that's just something that you're into that sort of stuff, I mean, I don't get it.
No, I'll never understand it.
I'm not meant to get it, I guess.
No, I will never understand NFTs. People can try to explain them to me, and I will not listen.
No.
Because you don't own a thing. You own a link to a thing.
That's the thing. That's the
a place on the blockchain.
Right. That's the thing that frustrates me is like somebody's like, hey, I'm going to own an NFT of this image. It's like, but I can literally just right click something and save it.
Right. You own a thing on the blockchain, a whole bunch of numbers. You don't own the image itself.
It's maddening because it's like, it's
insane.
It's not like a tangible item.
Right. It's not a tangible object. It's kind of frustrating. And I'm sure someone's going to be like, and I'm going to be like, you know what? If I'm wrong, that's cool, man. I'm good with being wrong.
Yeah.
How much longer do I have to live? Not very long. I'm not going to spend it trying to figure out NFTs.
Yeah. We don't have time. Mm-mm. Also, it was funny earlier on the show that I listened to the Completely Unnecessary podcast with Pat, the NES punk, and Ian. And I found it interesting because they're talking about how they talk about WCW for a second, and they how they said they stopped watching after like a certain incident or whatever, like the finger poke of doom, and it made me think because literally on Wednesdays now AEW is on TBS.
Yep. And
we actually can access TBS.
Yes, we watched AEW before recording this show. Yeah,
and I mentioned this last week, and so it just makes me think I've never had a point in my life where I've been like, I'm not going to watch wrestling, or I'm not going to watch a certain kind of I'll if it's on, I'll watch it. Like if Impact was on a station that I can access in an easy way where I'm just sitting around, I'll watch it.
It must be nice not to experience simmering rage with an entertainment property.
I've never experienced that to the point of just complete denial.
What, denial of watching it?
Or not that I'm not saying
you've never rage quit a show or anything?
Trying to think if that's ever been. I feel like there's been.
You've never gone back to a movie theater and returned tickets to The Killing Joke? Oh, wait, that was me.
Yeah, that was you. Yeah.
Because you got so angry about what was going to happen in it?
Yeah, you knew. I'm trying to think what my history is with that sort of behavior. Because I don't think I've ever...
You've never said, I'm so fucking tired of this, I refuse to watch it. Watch the rest of it.
Who, you or me?
You.
I can't immediately recall a moment. I feel like there's a lot of times I just stop watching because it maybe might fall out of my routine, and I'll just I'll just not want to watch it.
You've never been like, you know what? Fuck this show.
I mean, I've never done that with wrestling. I know that.
Oh man,
which is impressive.
That's amazing.
Because wrestling.
What's it like not to live with simmering rage? What is it like to be able to not get angry over something that doesn't matter?
God,
what's that like?
It's good.
That sounds good. Sounds real good.
It's healthy.
Yeah, you know what? Sounds like a healthy way of dealing with entertainment
my blood
properties.
pressure has been characteristically good throughout my life.
Oh, is because you don't have rage towards things you have no control over?
I'm constantly bubbling.
Yeah, I'm always angry.
Yeah. You'd be a good Hulk.
I would be. I mean, that's, again, my secret is I'm always angry. Yeah, I'd be a great Hulk.
I think you'd be constantly Hulk.
I would be. I mean,
you'd be green all the time.
I think I look good in green. Yeah. It has to be a dark green though. You can't. If I'm like a pea soup green, I'd be really pissed.
Yeah, I don't want to be. You don't want to be a light green.
Yeah, I don't want to be a light green. I'm like a nice, emerald. Like if I'm an emerald green Hulk, that'd be great.
Yeah,
jade maybe.
Yeah,
jade. Do some jade. Forest green, I'll take.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's always a favorite color of mine in the Crayola box.
I could do any of those. I think I'd be a real nice, Hulk in any of those colors. But if you could be baby snot green, I'd be real pissed.
Oh, that's a new crayon.
But baby snot green?
Yeah, baby snot. Oh, great.
Oof.
Yeah. See how we bring it to comics. You see how we bring it around. This is why you guys. This is why you got to listen to the first part of the show to feel to connect with the second part of the show.
Oh yeah, we're always bringing stuff around. We're doing callbacks left and right. We're always bringing it into comics. I mean, we are just highly skilled comedians.
We're skilled in something.
Well, we're not highly skilled at doing anything except complaining. Yeah, at least me. I'm a champion.
Yeah, you're pretty good rager. So trying to think of the other thing. Oh yeah, so we watched more of the Dark Side of the '90s. I just wanted to address that real quick because we've kind of gotten to the. I think we have one left.
Yeah, I think it's the internet one. I think it's next.
And it's just what I found interesting about this series is that there's a few things in here that, as somebody who lived through the '90s, didn't feel the I guess not the ubiquitousness, but the fervor for that this series.
Well, you might have just been outside of that particular thing.
Well, I mean, maybe it's certain like an aging out or something.
Maybe
because I was thinking like the Beanie Baby thing.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't understand the Beanie Baby thing either. But I also, you've met my mother. You think she's gonna go fucking collect a Beanie Baby?
Oh, your mom's not gonna do anything.
No.
And my mom, and you know what?
You know why? She'd be like, I'm not putting that. I don't have room to store that shit. You know what I mean? She'd be so angry about it.
My mom would only do it if they came with scratch offs.
Yeah.
If the tag on there, you could scratch it off
and you could win,
and you could win $2.
Yeah.
Or if it was a bingo card.
Yep, pretty much.
Something.
I could absolutely see that. My mother would never, I guarantee somebody probably told her about a Beanie Baby. Like one of her friends was probably like, "Oh my God, Beanie Babies, look at this." And she was like, "But what do I do with them?" And they're like, "Oh, you buy them and you hold on to them and they increase in value." And she went,
"No, they don't."
"But what do I do with them?" And I guarantee that was probably the extent of the Beanie Baby.
I mean, is there a bank where they accrue interest and I can take them out?
There's no way. My mother, she doesn't collect anything. She won't watch a movie a second time. Like, that's just not. But she'll watch Yellowstone 9 times in a row. So I don't know.
Man, Yellowstone, man.
Yeah, she's fucking in love with that goddamn show.
People are.
Baby boomers love it, man.
Yeah, I was just at work today and I found out that one of the WWE announcers is a fan of Yellowstone. You know, he's
Stony?
He's a Stony.
Oh, is that what they're called? Stonies?
Yeah, instead of bronies, it's Stonies.
Stonies? Yeah, I don't know. There's people who really love Yellowstone. I don't really have an interest in it. However, I did watch, because we have Paramount Plus. Mm-hmm. I watched, there's a prequel to Yellowstone called 1883. which I'm kind of a sucker for any of those like set in the Old West.
You're a sucker for periodicals.
For period
pieces.
dramas, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this. And I actually watched it right before we started this podcast while you were watching AEW.
Oh, you're still watching it?
Yeah. It's 4 episodes.
Okay.
I watched half of it this morning when I was on the bike, and I watched the second half today.
But weren't you watching it like weeks ago?
Well, it's coming out week by week. It's like on right now. So there was like not an episode or whatever. And now there was an episode, so I watched half of it this morning.
Because I was listening, because I was sitting there, I remember sitting in bed and hearing you watching, and I heard Sam, was it Sam Shepard? Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
Sam Elliott, like, burr, burr, burr,
yeah,
you know, and Billy Bob Thornton's like, burr, burr, burr.
Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, yeah, he was.
He's in there too, right? Didn't he shoot a bunch of people?
I think so. I'm trying to remember if it was that one because I was watching another one too.
Okay.
But Sam Elliott is definitely in 1883. But anyway, so it's like, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're like, we're taking a bunch of like Norwegian people across a river so they can like go to Oregon or whatever. And so pretty much all of them die in the river crossing. It's just like wagons going down and people drowning. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody died? Like, no one made it. Like, and I was just like,
R.I.P. Norwegians.
I don't know what's happening. So I'm a little confused as to why everyone had to die so horribly and violently.
Even Sam Elliott?
No, that's the thing. Anybody who's not a foreigner lived.
Oh,
Don't worry about that. But if there were any of these Norwegian people, they all fucking died.
No,
they died. It wasn't even like the river's not even that deep. I guess the current was supposed to be fast or something. I don't know. I was like, okay. Whatever you're saying, 1883.
All right.
I don't know why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about that 90s documentary.
90s documentary.
So you're talking about Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies, never.
Not a thing.
Not another thing. And it was never, I knew about it, but I didn't know it was like that crazy. Like there was all this other, because they talk about like people, like the mob got involved.
Yeah, people like making counterfeit fucking Beanie Babies.
Well, they make counterfeit things for everything. Let's be honest. Like action figures.
Yeah, I mean,
game systems.
And they were talking about like people robbing UPS trucks for the shipment of the Beanie Babies.
Yeah, that's great. But I never,
it's nuts.
Never understood that. And then the other one was that I wanted to bring up was the Baywatch episode.
Oh yeah.
But they make it sound okay. Listen, I remember do remember watching Baywatch on NBC.
Oh, okay. I watched it in syndication.
Right. Well, so did I. But I remember hearing about it on NBC. I remember maybe watching like an episode because I was a fat kid at home.
Yeah.
And
that's what us fat kids did.
And I remember eventually coming to syndication, and I want to say like 93, 94 was like the time that I watched it, because it would be on at like 10 o'clock on WTV.
Yeah.
And I would actually, because that was part of like my summer of staying up.
Yeah.
That was when I was like 12, 13, 14. Like I would be like, I'm staying up. I'm watching TV past 11.
Oh, man.
It was like, I'm watching Beavis and Butthead. I'm not supposed to.
Right.
Because I would watch Baywatch, and then probably right after that was Arsenio Hall.
Okay.
So I'd watch some Arsenio, and maybe there's something else after that. And then also at one point, remember watching the show Studs.
Okay.
Hosted by our friend Mark DiCarlo.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
That's how when I first Mark DiCarlo, who's he's like a travel guy.
Yeah.
He's been in like he does movies and stuff. He's the voice of Jimmy Neutron's dad. That's where I think a lot of people know him from. But the reason why I knew Mark DiCarlo is because he was on a show called Studs, which was basically like a dating show, like a dating game.
Oh, okay.
Show, but like, it was like gnarlier.
Studs. Yeah.
And stuff. And yeah, he was a part of it.
So I watched Baywatch, but I feel it was later than you. Maybe 96, 97-ish, because it came on in syndication in the afternoon.
I think ours did too. There was a few. There's different showings.
Yeah, at some point it came on in the afternoon, and my sister and I would watch it. And at first we just hated it, but after a while we liked it, and we'd always call it Mitch Watch because it was always about David Hasselhoff. So we were just like, oh, it's Mitch Watch, and we would just like joke about it and like watch this fucking stupid show. And I remember at one point they actually did put a couple episodes of Baywatch Nights in there too. Okay. So I saw like 2 of them, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I was trying to capitalize on that X-Files wave,
but that's it. That's really my memory of Baywatch is just a lot of David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really just him. I realized other people were in that show, but it's mostly just David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, actually, wow.
In my memory.
This brings back memories about the show being on Saturdays, because it would be on after WWF Superstars or something. Actually, Xena, or like, I think Xena or Hercules would be on after that, or Highlander. And then, because it was Saturdays on WTV, was like, it was mostly like syndicated programming, like just in general. And then it was like Fox, you know, like whatever. But I remember watching a lot of that. But the point is that this documentary really kind of pushed to like it being like this big phenomenon.
I mean, I guess it was.
I don't buy that.
I mean, I remember people talking about it. I remember it like being in the zeitgeist, but it wasn't like...
It was in the zeitgeist because Pam Anderson was in the zeitgeist.
I think that's why.
That was 100% the reason. And
I think that's 100%, that's correct. But it wasn't one of those things where I was just like, everybody I knew was talking about Baywatch.
Yeah, like I never knew anybody in school. Actually, I'll be honest, I don't know anybody. I never in high school.
Yeah.
I don't remember really talking about TV with my friends. Be like, oh man, did you watch Baywatch? Oh man, did you watch whatever? Like mostly we talk about music.
Yeah.
But like I don't remember like talking TV or movies.
Oh well, we definitely talked. I mean, I didn't have any friends to talk to, but if I did, I would have talked to them about the X-Files.
Well, of course, yeah.
Because that was my thing. That was my fucking jam.
Yeah, but I remember this. Yeah, I remember the show being on. I remember because it was also because Pam Anderson was like this big deal. It's funny because you showed me a couple weeks ago. Somebody, I guess it was going around.
It was on Twitter. It was like how she's introduced in Baywatch,
and she's just playing a saxophone.
She's standing on a rock in a river,
right,
in jean shorts, playing a saxophone,
right, which
I don't believe she ever does again.
No.
And they're like, hey, this is CJ, Mitch. Do you want to hire her as a lifeguard? And
yeah. No, but the thing, but the thing is, you showed me that, and I was like,
you remembered it.
I 100% remembered it. I was like,
I did not.
Yeah, that's how she was introduced, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, man, she was all about it. It was in the 90s.
What I also learned from that 90s thing is the guys who created Baywatch. Because they're like, oh, yeah, we're just a bunch of guys, going down. We're smoking weed on the beach, thinking about it. But then we went to talk to our uncle, the creator of Gilligan's Island. And I'm like, oh, no fucking shit, you guys got a writing deal. Well, no wonder you had that opportunity.
Well, there was that one part where they're like, these two screenwriters struggling and down and out. And I'm like...
Right. Well, and that's why I was like, oh, these just two. And they're like... Well, he's my cousin and he's my best friend. And I'm like, okay, so these are cousins and, came to Hollywood to make it big. Oh no, their uncle created Gilligan's Island. Don't you fucking worry about it.
His name was uncle's name was Gilligan.
It's just like, oh, okay. Now I know why these guys got big in Hollywood and had the opportunity to do so.
And then they made Baywatch, and then the rest was history.
That's it.
Yeah, but also like there's that part where they're talking about the kid that played his son is Jeremy Jackson or whatever.
Yeah.
And they really were pushing like, it's like, oh, he was like a teen heartthrob. It's like, look, I wasn't a teenage girl. I didn't.
He was well, at least when I started watching it, he was too young. The episodes I saw, he was.
Yeah, he was like a little kid.
I mean, when you start at the beginning, he's like 11.
Yeah.
So when I start watching and I'm like 16 years old, he's a child.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if I had started watching and I was the same age as him, maybe. But
they really pushed it, and I'm like,
I don't know.
Pushed it. He was like this teen heartthrob, and I'm like, but also just from my experience of watching Baywatch, like you watched it on Saturdays, probably because you had nothing else better to do.
Well, that was because you were too old. Like to get that he was a teen heartthrob. I think you would have to be a younger girl.
No, I'm saying like I'm just trying to figure out like if you're a teenage kid, and like
was he in any of those Tiger
Well, probably.
magazines?
I think, you know what? He probably was because you know what? Every kid that was on TV in the '90s, boy or girl,
was in
those magazines because they have to fill pages.
That's
they can't
true.
just. I mean, granted, they could talk about certain people for like a number of pages. I actually used to remember sometimes reading Carrie's from the ones that she had from the '80s.
Oh God!
And just being like, because I was a bored fat kid, you know, and I remember reading it, and I distinctly remember a report on one of the girls from Facts of Life, and then like also George Michael, and having a birthday party or something.
I never read any of those magazines.
I'm not surprised.
It wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I read 17 magazine, but that was more of a fashion magazine.
Yeah. You get some tips.
Yeah, but and my mother blames it for ruining me. She didn't want my sister to, because she said it ruined your sister. You can't read it. But we got to watch the model one too, and that just made me angry. So anyway.
Yeah. But it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It was just real upsetting.
Yeah, no, I was saying, but the series in general though, it's pretty dope. I hope there's more. I hope they do.
Dark Side of the 80s.
Dark Side of the 80s would be nice.
I'm sure they will have. I mean, you could do so many things. They did Cults, they did The Branch Davidians and Heaven's Gate in the same episode.
Yeah, I gotta cover them all.
I mean, I would have bounced when they were like, you gotta have, if I was in Heaven's Gate and they were like, first off, you gotta have this ugly ass haircut and you can't fuck. Oh, I would have bounced.
Yeah, there was
fat kid or not. I'd have been like, you know what? I have hope that one day,
peace.
But I'm not cutting my hair into whatever the fuck you people are doing.
Yeah, I'm not looking like the Beatles.
Not even the Beatles. It was just, I don't even know what was happening. It was just bad.
I was thinking like if they could do the Dark Side of the 10s. Or
Dark Side of the 10s. Or the aughts.
Or the 20s.
Yeah.
Of now.
I don't know if I want to watch the Dark Side of the Now because I already know.
Actually, that'd be a great episode, great series, our Dark Side of the Now. But I was just thinking they could do NFTs. They could do an NFT episode.
Just crying about their fucking apes. You know, they might do it like, so you didn't watch this, but I watched that documentary Glitch in the Matrix. And when they talk to people who believe that we live in the Matrix, these people sit down for these interviews and they sit down over Zoom, but they're like animated avatars. So there's a guy who like looks like a lion. And then there's a guy who looks like a kind of like one of those Egyptian gods. With like
Stargate?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And then so it's all these people like waxing poetic about like how we live in a simulation, but it's like a fucking red lion made with, you know, fucking CGI. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm assuming if they did a Dark Side of the Now and did an NFT, it would just be dudes like that just looking like apes. Like looking like all those little NFTs.
That's true.
Instead of themselves, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of main character syndrome in that Glitch in the Matrix thing.
Yeah. What's that on? Is that on HBO?
It was on Hulu.
Oh, Hulu.
It's on Hulu, and there's like every single one of the dudes that they sit down to talk about like how they believe that we're in a simulation. Every single one of them's like, well, Elon Musk said it was a good idea, and you're like, okay.
Have you seen that guy's hair? Speaking of bad haircuts.
You're like, I mean, all right, bro.
Yeah, no.
It was started off really interesting, but by the end, I just got really annoyed. So anyway,
Dark Side of the Now.
Dark Side of the Now.
All right. Well,
it's the news.
Let's take a break. I'm gonna go yell at my cat.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll come back with our book for this week.
Have you checked out quadmproductions.com lately? quadmproductions.com is your direct access hookup to order Enigma the comic book series and download the Quadm podcast. Check the appearances page for upcoming events and contact us with questions or comments. Don't be the only lonely soul who's missing out on all the fun. Visit us today at quadmproductions.com. That's quadmproductions.com.
All right, we're back here on Worst Collection Ever with our book for this week. It is The Flash, number 266 from October 1978. I feel like I can't remember the last time we did The Flash. I know we didn't do this one, but
it's been a while.
I know we did The Flash. Well, it was me and Brian.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This was like how long ago that was? So 2019, 2018?
Oh, I don't know.
It was, whenever they were here, my brother Brian and my mom.
Yeah.
And you didn't do the show, but it was me and my brother.
Did I take your mom somewhere?
No, either that or you just were really tired. I feel like
That also could have been.
it could, or you could have. It was like, yeah, I'm trying to
It was
remember.
either I took your mom somewhere or I went to bed. I don't
Well, there was a lot going on because we had guests, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, we did one where like he went to like a villain convention or some shit. Mm-hmm. So, but this one is him on the Flash
With the Heat Master?
with the heat wave.
Heat Wave.
Heat Wave.
Heat Master.
Heat Master. Heat Master.
Hot Man.
Hot man. So yeah,
Mr. Heat. Is that anything?
I don't know, but it's good. That could be work. That could work for somebody.
Right? I'm saying Mr. Heat, that could work.
Mr. Heat. So the Flash is in the midst of a fight with Heatwave, and Heatwave's shooting some fire at his boots.
Yeah.
And the Flash,
And Flash is literally jumping out of them.
jumping out of his boots.
It's kinda great.
And Heatwave is like,
We also learn in this that Flash wears footy pajamas.
he does, yes.
Yeah.
He goes, Heatwave says, I got you stuck tight on the floor, Flash, making it a cinch for me to burn you down. And Flash is like, wrong again, Heatwave, as he leaps out. And then also on the bottom, because we have like, there's like two stories in here. We have a Kid Flash.
Kid Cash.
Kid Flash.
That's those the guys who invented Baywatch, Kid Cash.
Kid Cash is a wrestler. That's probably why I said it. But just imagining a screenwriting duo named Kid Cash. We got to meet with Kid Cash on the books here this afternoon at Warner Brothers.
Yep, and it's just two dudes whose uncles have been in show business since 1978.
We got Kid Cash and Sir Rich-a-Lot. Sir Rich Money.
Sir Rich Money. I like Kid Cash. I think that's funny.
Kid Flash, who stole Kid Flash's super speed? And Kid Flash is reaching out to some streaking.
I will admit, I didn't really read that Kid Flash thing. There was some making out in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I went, oh, he made out. So I'm assuming that his boner stole his super speed. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Sure.
Or maybe it didn't. Maybe he just finished.
So
real quick. She didn't know what happened.
Heatwave plays it cool as a story, and Heatwave is thinking about. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna finish the Flash. I'm finally gonna do
my thing.
Do my thing. Like, I'm the Flash, and he's one of my enemies, and I'm finally gonna be able to defeat him. And we start off with these dudes in a yurt.
This is so strange. So we start out with these dudes in a yurt, or they're in the dark, right? And they're talking, and they're basically doing a Trojan horse into this museum.
Right, because they're
in a pyramid.
Yeah, and they're bullshitting. Like, some of these guys are like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And
well, they're like wearing masks and shit. And so I'm like, okay, this is what these dudes look like. So the pyramid goes into the museum. Barry Allen happens to be there with Iris. Barry, by the way, dressed like Fred from the fucking Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, look at him.
He
looks like Fred.
He does. He's very blonde. He's wearing a turtleneck. He's got a matching
Barry was that blonde.
He's very blonde. He's got a matching leisure suit. He really does look like Fred. And he's talking to Iris, and he's like, man, I love all of this, except this pyramid thing leaves me cold. And Iris is like, oh, it's a replica. And so then the guys who are inside of it burn a hole in it. And when they come out, they are dressed like my dad in 1986. They're not wearing any sort of criminal crime outfit. These dudes are just wearing fucking chinos and a members only jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, they're dressed like
they just look like regular dudes. And I was like, where's your masks?
They're just like they're in River City Ransom.
But they were drawn with masks, so I'm thinking they're gonna come out in matching getups. No, they literally just look like my dad.
Well, because it looks like when they're in this yurt, it's a pyramid, but I'm just gonna call it a yurt. They're wearing these outfits or something.
Yeah, that's why I was
some sort of heat wave, because Heat Wave's their leader.
Yeah,
and I was like, maybe Heat Wave brought some Heat Junior costumes.
Well, they always would dress, complimentary back then. This is, 1978. Everybody has a gimmick. But these guys, no, wearing regular clothes.
Yeah, so they bust out of this yurt, and Heat Wave's right behind them. And apparently he vaporizes this whole pyramid that according to this page here, it's gigantic.
Yeah, it's
like
huge.
It's being like on this truck, like it's just being shipped in. And so he apparently just vaporizes the whole thing with his heat, and the security guards come at them. Before we find out what happens to security guards, Barry bolts. Now I can't remember if Iris,
she knows.
Does she know?
Yes, because she just went, oh, the Flash must be coming soon. And then like when she's thinking that, you see the Flash suit
he's in
come
a
out
corner
of a ring.
Because it shoots out of his, because he has his suit shoots out of his ring, and he goes real fast and puts it on.
Right.
So, but
she does know.
But somebody else could probably see him, because it's a museum, it's a busy exhibit. People could be walking around and be like, "Hey,
he's really fast.
That guy's getting naked real fast.
He's so fast you don't see him."
Yeah, and so Heat Wave starts
like infrared, making these guys' guns go off.
He
like
makes
security guys.
He makes the guns. The revolvers explode, but he also makes the bullets in their pockets, just loose bullets.
I was gonna say, do you just have these dudes just walking around with
loose bullets, like they're quarters for the arcade, like they're jelly beans.
He's just
for later.
They're trying to get a soda out of the fucking soda machine, and all they got are bullets.
Oh man, I can't get a Dr. Pibb.
Do you think
or Mr. Pibb?
Do you think that because they're like, oh, since this is the security break room, they do take bullets in that machine?
Yeah,
so you can put quarters in it or a bullet.
They got a little jar,
Yeah, well, there's a little slot for a bullet. You just boop, and then you get like a Snickers.
What if they have those machines that press bullets into little like art?
Yeah, where it's like,
but then it explodes every time you use it.
Anytime you go to a fucking tourist trap, it's like put a penny in here and it presses it into, I don't know, like the fucking Buffalo Bill's grave or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be.
Yeah, those gimmicks.
Yeah.
But they got bullets.
And they just constantly exploding.
So these bullets are exploding in their pants, which these security guards are just kind of no-selling it. Just like, it's like firecrackers.
Wouldn't you blow something off? Like blow chunks in your thighs?
Blowing chunks in your thigh, maybe also ruining your genitals.
Blowing a dick off, man.
You're losing that dick.
I mean, come on, you have an exploding thing in your pants.
So not only does he blow their dicks off, but he also turns up the heat in there.
Yeah,
and everybody
like,
starts officiating, except for Iris. She seems fine.
She doesn't care.
And the security guard or the thugs are taking all the stuff. Flash shows up, and he does one of his tricks where he runs really fast, and in the backwash of his running,
cools things down.
No, it doesn't cool things down.
It protects him from the heat.
Right, but also what it does here is that it wraps them up, like it does that thing. I've seen him just a few times where like the backdraft will like grab somebody in it, and that's how he's able to carry people with him or something like that. But in this case, he just kind of like throws them into a wall. So not only so now they have concussions and shit. I just enjoy these are the kind of criminals that are like play-by-playing their loss. It's like, we're headed towards the wall. It's like,
okay.
Can't you maybe try to stop that or something? No, I guess not. He goes off to fight Heatwave and goes down a level and
because there's like a hole in the floor, like a melted hole or something that he sees, and he's like, oh, Heatwave must have gone this way. So he vibrates his way through the floor.
Yes.
So and as soon as he lands there, it's so hot that the soles of his shoes melt, but there's so much rubber sole, he's standing in a 2 foot
That's a
radius.
big pool. That's a big pool
and I was
of
just like,
rubber.
Yeah, and I'm like, Is he wearing club kid shoes? Like, is he wearing, those?
He's wearing platform shoes. It's the 70s.
Yeah, I guess. Like those big, like huge fucking.
Clodhoppers.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about though. Like,
I know, yeah.
Yeah, with like the like, 12 inches of foam. Like, is that what the Flash is wearing?
He has to be, because look at the
It's a
amount
lot.
of rubber that's being distributed here.
And Heat Guy is like, oh. Heat Guy. He's like, oh, he's stuck to the floor.
Well, Heat Wave's about to shoot him, and somehow Flash. Well, because we know why, because he's talking.
Yeah.
And then Flash hears him, and he just jumps out of his shoes, which you get the thing on the cover, and
then he jumps back into his shoes.
he jumps back into his shoes and like stomps really fast.
Yeah.
Which somehow saves his shoes.
It's because he had so much fucking
He
soul.
has so much rubber on those soles. I mean, granted, you might have to because he's running so fast.
I was thinking that too, but I mean, like, this is like excessive.
It is. And Heat Wave accidentally shoots
an air conditioner.
air conditioning unit, and immediately it like turns into the North Pole in there.
Right, and then Flash gets knocked out by this, and he falls to the ground. But luckily, the floor is no longer hot because the air conditioner exploded.
Air conditioner exploded
Like instantly.
and
I'm like,
everybody's
he'd still melt, wouldn't he?
yeah, everybody's all chilly, and Heat Wave is like, "Oh man, the Flash is down. I'm gonna shoot him in the fucking head."
Yeah. But then he's like, "Oh, it's so cold, I cannot."
He's like, "I can't do it. I don't know why." He doesn't understand why.
Right, but he's also freezing. He's like,
Yeah, because
he's like
cold
covered
too.
in icicles or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh man, I could have been, I could have killed him, but I didn't."
And he left.
And then Heat Wave. Well, just a quick thing here with Iris, and she's wondering why Heat Wave is hanging out with these
listening.
jobbers.
Yeah, she's listening to these dudes talk, and she's like, "Oh, the Flash has to solve a mystery."
Yeah, these guys are upset. So, but then we jump to a brownstone somewhere in Central City. Heat Wave in his shoot identity, Mick Rory,
Yep, civilian identity.
civilian identity. He is
In therapy.
in therapy. He looks like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he does.
Because I mean, he's just a bald dude, but I
Yeah.
mean, and I know that's kind of indicative of all bald dudes. They always like, "Oh, you look like Lex Luthor,"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he actually kind of does look like Lex Luthor.
He does.
So he's in therapy, and
He's in therapy. He's also doing the
well, because there's a doctor.
There's a doctor, but he's doing the laying on the couch thing.
Yeah, and there's
Have you ever been to therapy where they make you lay on the couch?
no, but I mean, I've been to therapy where I could just be like, "I'm going to lay down on this couch."
Did you ever lay down on a couch?
I've spread out before,
Have you actually laid down on a couch during therapy?
maybe.
I've never done that.
Apparently, so that's why I went out this doctor is that his name is Dr. Sinnett, and he apparently is the underworld's shrink. He's kind of like Dr. Leslie Tompkins,
Yeah.
but evil and also a psychiatrist.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, so which is you know what, I applaud
Hey.
the DC villains for embracing mental health.
Hey, you got to do it. You know, there's no shame in going to talk to a therapist.
Yeah. And so this doctor's like, "Look, you have some sort of problem. You're only operating at 50% capacity. So what I'm going to do is since I'm a psychiatrist, I have machines that I invented, which should be the most
Terrifying.
alarming thing. If somebody says to you is, 'Hey, I have a machine that I invented and I want to use it on you,'
Yeah.
that's when you should leave.
Yes.
That's
it
when you should
is.
be like, I don't want that to happen to me."
Yeah.
So Heat Wave's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. You can do this on me."
Well, it's called like the shockometer or something.
The Strobocon.
Strobocon.
The Strobocon.
Yeah. It
Which
is-
sounds like a Decepticon
Oh, it does.
that transforms into a disco ball.
Yes, a Decepticon who is also a DJ.
Which, you know what? Yeah, I'm not surprised that hasn't been the thing in Michael Bay movies.
I was going to say, if we ever get another one, I bet we're going to get it.
I hope we do. And hope
Yeah.
it's called Strobocon.
I hope so too.
And I hope DC sues Michael Bay. Hope that happens too.
That sounds fun.
So he goes, it's just like a ray or some sort of device that allows him to open up thoughts.
Yeah, and so this is when we find out that like when Heat Man or whatever.
When Heat Wave was a boy.
I just like calling him Heat Man. When Mr. Hotz was a child, he went on a field trip to like a butcher slaughterhouse thing.
Yep.
And he was like, I'm going to sneak off. And he snuck off and he got locked in the freezer where there were like a bunch of, slabs of beef, but then he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And so when he did get out, he said that he was only comfortable, like even in the summer, like wearing like all sorts of clothes and being obsessed with heat.
Yeah, I do enjoy. I'm assuming this is a shot of him at home.
Yes, and I'm assuming those are his parents in the background.
His parents, his dad, Jackie Coogan.
Yes,
wearing a smock.
Well,
best to describe a polka dot smock.
Yes, well, he's wearing like a turtleneck. He's basically dressed like Doctor Strange.
Yes.
In the new Spider-Man movie, when it's all cold, he's got like a parka and a cape and a fucking like hoodie, and the collar's all popped, and yeah. He's basically dressed like that.
Yeah. So his parents are like, "Oh, our son's weird."
Yeah.
And then I guess we find out that he was also his first job was he left home to join the carnival as a fire eater.
That's right. He was a fire eater at the carnival.
It's like, I love fire.
And then he was like, but because like the cold has such like a traumatic memory for him, he couldn't like kill the Flash.
Yeah, he couldn't kill the Flash in that particular moment
because it was cold.
Yeah.
And then so as he's going through this like horribly traumatic experiences and memories, the therapist is just like shoving ice. Like first he just literally throws an entire bucket of ice on him.
Yes.
And then he's like holding an ice cube to his face, and he guys going, no, and this therapist is just, yes.
He's like, you must. He's like, we need to defeat your cold phobia, or as he calls it, cryophobia.
Right. And he's like literally shoving an ice cube in this guy's face as he's crying. It's very, very funny.
Okay, look. If you have, some people do have cryophobia. So I'm certain that's a real thing.
Sure.
But the therapist who is torturing this man,
terrible therapist,
mentions, he says, look, that's why you couldn't destroy the Flash. That's why you and Captain Cold jobs you out.
Right.
Because he's literally the cold guy. Mm-hmm. And apparently he failed at his last job, whatever his I'm trying to think what the name is for like a better name for heist. He failed at his last heist at a jewelry store because he was stealing diamonds, but they were called ice.
Oh, yes.
So it's kind of like a thing like Eclipso, where if somebody's standing in front of like a sun or like a light,
right,
and it's like an eclipse, then he'll turn into Eclipso and he can't help it.
But also, as soon as that person moves out of that light, would he turn back?
I don't know. I don't know.
How does Eclipso work?
Well, that's supposed to work. If there's an eclipse in the sun, he goes, I'm a fucking Eclipso.
The sun makes sense, though. But, like, if I'm standing in front of a lamp in my living room, he's like, I'm Eclipso, and then I move, is he going to be like, I'm not Eclipso anymore?
I think so.
What happens if somebody's standing in front of a strobe light?
Actually, I'm trying... I wonder if it's just sunlight.
It makes sense if it was just sunlight.
Because
if it's just like a regular light, like you could totally fuck with him very easily.
Yeah.
And, like literally, he would have no time to do anything else.
Look, I just remember there being an issue, probably of like House of Mystery or whatever, where that happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I just because I remember I have like the showcase or whatever, and I remember that happening. So I don't. I'll never forget that because it's just like it's such a fucking weird thing.
Because this doesn't make any sense.
But in this case, Heat Wave, somebody was like, man, we gotta grab some ice. And he's like, no, not ice. I can't grab diamonds. I'll never be rich. But yeah, this therapist is just like, there's a lot of shots of him just holding this ice cube and just menacingly.
Yes, menacing with ice.
So,
which is so, like I said, it's very funny.
With the doctor is like, look, I'll help you figure this out. And Heat Wave's like, all right, I'll do it. And then he yells at him. The doctor is like, he's like, all I ask is you stop trembling. It's like, dude, you just literally threw a bucket of ice at a man who has cryophobia. Right,
exactly. I'm like, you're a terrible therapist, but you know.
So Barry, so apparently it's okay. So Barry, who's a CSI, at Central City, he's at work, and somebody, one of the cops is like, hey, somebody keeps calling for the Flash. It's the butler of Alden Norton's estate, who apparently was a famous Arctic explorer that died. He keeps asking for the Flash. This butler keeps asking for the Flash. And so, nobody knows Barry's the Flash. So Barry's like, oh, shit, I should go check this out.
He runs up to where this guy lives, and he lives basically in... you've seen The X-Files Fight the Future. So in this movie, Mulder and Scully stumble upon a cornfield with these bubbles, like those big white bubbles. And that's what this guy lives in. That's where the genetically altered bees are.
Okay.
In the X-Files. But that's what this guy lives in.
So essentially this guy, but according to Barry, he lives in a marble igloo.
Yeah, in the middle of a fucking cornfield.
Yeah. And so also we find out that this guy, this Arctic guy, had a disease, and supposedly he died from a disease. But Barry believes, like probably a lot of other people believe apparently, that this guy did a Walt Disney.
Oh, froze his head.
Well, just froze his body. He froze. Did a full Disney.
Full Disney, yeah.
And froze his body.
Yeah.
And hopes that. But actually, you know what he did? He did a Mr. Burns.
Oh, did Mr. Burns freeze himself at one point?
Well, when Lisa was getting married, and so Mr. Burns, he was stabbed like 37 times.
Oh, that's right.
And so he was frozen until they could figure out how to solve.
That's right. How to solve 37 stab wounds to the back.
And they figured out like a few of them. So that's basically what's going on. So Barry goes there and he meets the butler, and there's like a maid or whatever.
But he's like, oh, they've got like a weird dazed expression on their face. I'm really confused. And then
he hears Heatwave's voice.
Right.
By the way, real quick, just want to point out a Milk Duds Joker contest of some sort.
I see this, yes.
Taking up 2 pages.
It does. It takes up 2 whole pages.
It's a lot going on there. I didn't bother to read anything about it.
Yeah, but it's got like the Joker, a lot of text, and then it says like Milk Duds.
Yep.
And I was just like, okay, you know what? That's enough for me.
So he hears Heatwave, and Heatwave starts shooting at him. Flash just runs through like a stuffed polar bear that apparently was some sort of prized possession of this guy's. Because he's like, oh, maybe this flame will stop. I'll have this polar bear stop this flame. So he does that, and Heatwave's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And Flash gets the better of him and vibrates him through a wall.
This is my favorite part of this whole thing. He's like, you know what? I'm fucking sick of you, Heatwave. I'm going to kick you in the face like 18 times. And then I'm going to pick you up and shake you so hard that I'm going to put you through this fucking wall so you look like one of these animals that's mounted up here.
So here's the thing. He's vibrating him so hard. Is he also vibrating his molecules and phasing him through this wall, or is he just throwing him through this wall? Because, I mean, it looks like he's throwing him through this wall.
Yeah.
But if he's phasing him through the wall, that means at some point his molecules will stop vibrating and the wall will materialize within the body.
I assume so. I also don't know if somebody who doesn't have the speed force can survive that sort of vibration.
I don't
I mean,
think so.
isn't that instant CTE? Like your brain is just bouncing around your skull.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a lot of damage could be done.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he should be dead. But he like puts this guy through a wall.
Puts this guy through a wall, and he's like, all right, I'm going to rip off your mask so you don't do anything with your mask. And oh no, it's the butler.
Yeah.
And
the guy he just put through a wall was the butler. So
that guy's
if he had instant CTE, he's totally dead.
This poor guy is
totally dead.
Ruined.
And then the butler.
Well, the butler shoots
the Flash.
Shoots the Flash with the heat gun.
Right.
And turns out the butler was just Heatwave
in a butler mask.
Okay. So this butler, the guy who got stuck through the wall, is an actual person.
Yes.
In this story.
Yes, he is.
A regular person that has a job.
As a butler
of this estate. Flash, for all intents and purposes, has ruined this man
Yes.
and stuck through a wall.
Yes.
But in order for Heatwave's plan to work, what had to happen was Heatwave had to go to this place and be like,
here, I've mesmerized you with heat.
I've mesmerized you with heat. So now you guys are whatever.
Now I'm going to make a mask of your face.
I'm going to somehow make an exact latex mask of your face.
And one of my face.
No, it doesn't make one of his face.
No, doesn't.
He just takes off.
No, but isn't the guy he's fighting? Oh, is it in the Heatwave costume?
He's in a Heatwave costume, but I don't think he's wearing like a rubber mask of Heatwave.
All right, so he puts him in the Heatwave costume and makes a perfect replica of this man's face that is so good.
This is some Mission Impossible shit.
It is. It does not look.
It's literally Mission Impossible. They do that in the movie where they make the because he also mentions there's also like a vocal like
yes. He's like, so I could steal people's vocal cords.
So that's literally a thing they do in Mission Impossible. It like. I think it was one of the.
There's one where Tom Cruise like rips off his face.
Oh God, I think it's he rips off his face a lot, but there's one where they have to create these 3D masks.
Yeah,
I think it's one definitely where Simon Pegg's in it. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the Ghost Protocol or whatever it is. He makes this mask of like people, and they throw it on and they have like the vocal things.
Yeah,
this is literally that.
Yeah,
but where the fuck did Heatwave get this technology to do that?
Right?
Because you'd think that if he had, unless
he
is a guy that does it, but if he could do this, he should not be committing crimes. He should be licensing this
exactly
incredible invention,
incredible technology to the fucking government,
to Hollywood.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine it? You wouldn't have to do CGI faces anymore.
You wouldn't have to hire actors anymore. You could just make randos wear these fucking masks.
Yeah, just put them on a crew members. Be like, all right, here, look, there's Cary Grant or 1970s. There's Warren Beatty. There he is. That's how you do.
This you breaking this all down is very me breaking down the plot lines of Law and Order. Being like, wait a second, for all of this to happen.
It's fascinating though.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, well, I got the flash out. Well, you go. I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
So basically, we get the exact gag that shows up in the animated Justice League. Where they're like, I have the Flash. It's time for me to pull off his mask, find out who he is, pull off his mask because I don't know who this is.
Yeah, it's Luthor because Luthor and the Flash switch bodies. And I like it because Luthor's in like I think he's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom or whatever, and
he pulls off the mask and goes, I have no idea who this is.
I don't know who this is.
And that's literally what this guy does.
Looks like Luthor. So
he's like, yeah, I kind of recognize him, but I don't know who this is. Anyway, I'm going to put him in a capsule.
Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... He puts him in... So he puts the... he puts the Flash in a cryogenic capsule.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, in the year 2100 or 2100.
Yeah.
They'll find him.
Right.
Because he says, I am Heatwave, the 100% functioning criminal.
Okay.
But there's a throwaway line in here.
Okay.
Even though I disposed of Norton's frozen body. So the guy...
The Arctic Explorer.
The Arctic Explorer who was frozen...
Yeah.
For health.
Yeah.
To see if he could be cured in 2100 or whatever.
This is Boba Fett's Bacta tank, and he threw him out.
Heatwave grabbed this man's icicle body and... did something with it?
Oh God!
What he did with it, I don't know.
Maybe he put it in the deep freeze. Maybe there's a deep freeze in the basement, and he was just like, "I'm going to put him down here."
Here's what I want so the story ends here. The next issue has something to do with Heatwave, so Heatwave is involved. What I hope happens is
somebody puts him in a deep freeze.
No.
Oh.
What I hope happens is the Arctic Explorer thaws out.
Oh, this is a zombie. Or he wasn't really dead?
He was not really dead. I think because that's the thing. I think
once you get frozen, you're dead.
No, because you do cryogenics. That's how they did like the fucking Demolition Man and shit.
Yeah, but they can't bring anybody back from that yet.
But they did in movies, so they can probably do it here. It's probably what this guy was doing here.
They can do it in fiction, but I don't believe
Is this fiction?
Yeah, they could do it in fiction, but I don't think you could actually do it in real life.
Okay, right, but this
Okay.
is fiction.
Okay.
So what I believe is going to happen is that this Arctic explorer is going to show up and be like, I thawed out, bitch.
Also, somebody blew up my fucking polar bear.
also, my butler's dead.
My butler's dead. He's through my wall. This because the Flash like had to vibrate through a polar bear to like miss one of the heat wave blasts, and it blew up the polar bear. It's a fake one. It's a stuffed one. So this guy's gonna be very angry. He's gonna come back. His whole place is ruined. He's got a butler in the wall. He's got a polar bear explosion, and he's been hanging out in a deep freeze. Very upset.
There's a lot of details in here, and I don't know if I'm going to get around to reading.
I'd be really
reading
pissed if
this,
somebody
but
put my body in a deep freeze. Yeah, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd be dead. I don't care.
I want somebody to put my dead body in a deep fryer.
Wait, like lowering you in like when they fry a turkey?
Yes, I want you to crisp me up.
Anybody want some deep fried human?
Yeah, serve me up.
I know. I was actually going to get really upset about like the idea of my body in a freezer. Then I was like, I'm going to be dead. I don't care.
Well, I'm being cremated.
I'm being cremated too, but you could also throw me on the side of the road.
I want you to cremate me and put me in a freezer.
Just put your fucking urn in the freezer.
I want you to pour some water in my urn.
Cremains. Yes.
And I want you to I want my ashes to be frozen in a block of ice.
Do you want me to make Sean cubes, or you just want like one?
And then I want you to
one big cube.
I want the cubes to be served.
I'm not serving you. Gross.
I don't know. What else are you gonna do with ice cubes?
That's a great question.
I want you to put those ice cubes in a cold compress, one of those old timey cold compresses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you can use that,
like if somebody sprains their ankle.
Yeah, and just keep that in the freezer. And so when you need me to when you hurt, you just put that on your head, and I'm healing. My properties will heal you. I don't know. I see
how this works. I don't know if I want to go that far.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is. I don't really want to. I just want somebody to throw me in the trash.
I won't let that happen.
But wouldn't that be fun in the trash?
No. Trash is gross.
Trash is gross, but like, what if you just like threw me down a ravine? Like somewhere out in nature and just hucked me down a ravine and I bounced off a bunch of trees on my way down.
Well, you could be, you know what would happen is if you did that, if that happened to you, then somebody, I mean, I wouldn't allow it to happen, but if it did happen, you could be like a part of like a CSI, like a forensic files.
Oh yeah,
because some kids are gonna find a piece of your body. You have to like,
before you like throw me down, like I don't know, put like a thing in my mouth or something. That, like when they find me, they'll be like, "What is this?" It's a piece of paper. It says "not murdered." So they'll have to pull it out and be like, "Oh, she wasn't murdered."
But we need to find out who this head belongs to. Or who this loose esophagus belongs to.
Loose esophagus? Man, this is so very difficult. I would just like to have a note pinned to me that says "not murdered" and you can huck me down a ravine.
I'm just imagining the consequences.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that I would be so much better as like animal food.
No, give them back to the earth, I guess.
Right? Yeah. And yeah.
All right.
That's all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Kid Flash.
I didn't read this.
So basically what happens is Kid Flash is running in a rainstorm and...
There's a date.
What?
A date. I didn't read this.
Well, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go through real quick. So Kid Flash is running through I don't know why he's running through...
Is this Wally? No.
Yeah, Wally. This is Wally.
This is Wally.
So Wally, Wally, let's call him Wally, is running through some field and he sees some jabroni out in a rainstorm underneath a tree. And he's like, oh shit, that person's going to get like zapped. So I better like, because he literally is watching this lightning hurtle towards a tree. And so Flash or, Wally saves him. And, Wally's like, man, you would have like been killed. I do like this kid just so we know what his name is. He's like, that would have been the end of Howie Kramer.
Is Howie Kramer somebody we should know?
No.
Oh, all right.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. You know what? I mean, I'm certain if I looked it up in the DC Wiki, it's like only appearance. So immediately after that happens, the rain stops. And the kid runs off.
Right.
And whatever. And then Wally, who's trying to go to college,
Yeah.
is at the bank with his parents. I'm assuming he's cashing out some money because he did it was a camp counselor, and he made monies, and he's I'm going to use that for college, and he apparently has a scholarship, and his father's like,
No.
his father's like, good colleges are expensive, son, but we'll figure it out. You can go into crippling debt, and we'll help you. We'll help you with that.
Yes.
So he's walking away with his parents, and just behind him, you see like this blur running to the bank, which makes a sound of woo.
Woo.
Yeah, not whoosh, woo.
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 And so also, Wally's parents know that he's the Flash, or he's Kid Flash.
Okay.
Because they're like, because he's like,
It's amazing. Wally actually has parents?
Yeah.
They're not all fucking dead?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised.
No. His are the only parents that survive.
I was going to say, everyone's parents are dead. That's how it works in comics and Disney movies. Everybody's parents are dead.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to go like to college, and like, then after that, I'm going to like stop being Kid Flash because I don't want to be a superhero after that. And his parents are like, cool. But then you see the blur behind them running out of the bank, and people are like, holy shit, that bank got robbed. And Wally runs off to, shoot his costume out of his ring, goes to start running, and he can't.
Oh, no.
Because he has no super speed. He's like, man, like, that guy's really accelerating as if I'm not even running at all. It's like, oh, wait, I'm like, I'm just running like a jabroni. I do enjoy this panel here where he's like, oh my God, my super speed is gone. There's a dude here that is like, because Wally must be in the road. And I don't know if they're in England because the guy is driving on opposite side of the car.
Yeah, have you ever seen like sometimes people bring those cars over from England, and so
I've never seen it, but maybe
I know I've seen it a couple times, so maybe it's one of those.
I mean, I guess it's a very deliberate choice to make in this, only because they wanted this driver to be like shaking his fist at him, like right up against Wally, so he has to be on the opposite side of the car,
right?
To completely forgetting about the norms of American auto society. But I saw that and it bothered me. Not that people drive on the wrong side, different side of the road in England, and they have to go, but just it was like clearly this isn't I don't think Wally's from United Kingdom,
right?
So this is where he goes on his date. He just goes to like a diner, and he's just having a phosphate or whatever. And this is when some chick shows up, Liz Brodner. And she like surprises, she throws like a napkin on his head, and he's all like, oh, Liz, you're back, whatever. And so he's talking to her and kind of like talks about like losing something, and, he wants to find it. And, so this girl just goes, well, maybe you should start looking at the least likely place.
Yeah.
And then this is where he like grabs her and kisses her because he's so happy, because he's, oh, I know what to do. So
that's right.
So he kisses her, and
But it's not like a sexy kiss.
No, it's just not like he just kisses her on the lips, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. And this girl's like, oh, me and my razor sharp mind, because she wants that D.
She wants that Wally D?
She wants Wally D.
Oh, all right.
What was she saying? She's like, oh man, I could have had a phosphate, maybe had some nooner.
Ooh, some nooner.
Nooner.
Oh shit, this girl's living.
She's
really living.
I don't know anything about this character, but I'm
assuming that
I'm
you're
projecting
right.
she's
you're right. You're 100% correct. She wants to get that nooner, and it's truly living.
Yeah,
truly living when you hit that nooners.
So, Flash runs to where the tree got hit with the lightning.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, all right, well, I'm assuming what happened was
I will start here.
Well, here's the thing. He says the last time I used my super speed was when the lightning hit this tree or whatever, and I saved that kid. But I had to go back, because the last time, if this was the last time, if him going to his parents at the bank and realizing, and then the bank gets robbed, and he realizes he doesn't have super speed. It was the first time he didn't use the super speed since then. Did he like just walk home?
I mean,
after that, like after saving that kid,
didn't he super speed to the tree, or did
he super speed to the tree? The tree got hit with lightning.
No. I mean, when he went back, didn't he super?
No, he walked. He walked. He dressed up as Kid Flash and he walked through town, and he went to this tree. He's at Wushin.
You know what this reminds me of? So, at the beginning of the pandemic, many years ago, at this point, I went for a walk. Because we have like a little park by us.
Right.
And I went for a walk because that's what everybody was doing at the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm down by the park and I'm on the trail. And all of a sudden, coming out of like around this curve, and there's some like, trees or whatever, is a person dressed in a Squirtle costume.
Oh, that's right.
And I
was trying to think where this was going, but yes.
A 6 foot tall person dressed head to toe in a plush Squirtle costume as we were walking. And I wanted to...
I wasn't there.
You were not. I was by myself. And I saw this person come out of the woods dressed...
Out of the woods?
I mean, it's not really woods down there, but they're on a path. But they came from
I'll just picture them like... You just look in the clearing and you don't see anything, and all of a sudden you just see Squirtle coming out of the woods.
Literally like walking down the fucking pathway over the bridge towards me. And I was like... that person's dressed like Squirtle. And like, part of me was like, do I continue? Because we're on the same path walking towards each other. I was like, do I continue? Because it's a Squirtle. Is this person going to murder me? Or is this like their mask to protect themselves from COVID? Because none of us knew.
But what's with the deal with the whole outfit?
I don't know. It's like a hazmat
suit.
suit.
It's like, so you're trying to figure out, do you sell it? Or do you not?
Do I sell it or do I not? So I was like, I'm going to sell it. So I just walk by and I just go, hi, Squirtle. And I just continued walking. I wanted to take out my phone and take a picture, but I thought that would be weird.
So this, no, it wouldn't have been. First of all, no, wouldn't have been weird.
I was going to say, what's weirder, me taking a picture or a person literally walking through a park alone dressed as Squirtle in the middle of the day?
I'm not saying that. I want to say that he was, or he or she.
I have no idea it was a Squirtle.
Was begging to be taken a picture of.
I mean,
because it's, but you kind of want to. So I get that. But this reminds me of the time when I did a stand-up show in Boston. I think it was like an Emerson thing. I don't know, but it was at that one theater where the Blue Man Group play.
Yeah.
And we were told before the show starts.
Oh, that if you see the Blue Man Group.
If you see the Blue Man Group, because
yes.
apparently they had to walk through the area to go to the main Blue Man stage.
Yeah.
Because this was like some cabaret theater or whatever.
Yeah.
In that building. They said, if you see the Blue Man Group, do not acknowledge them. And everybody did their sets or whatever, no Blue Man Groups. And this fellow, Reggie Williams, got there a little bit late.
So he
missed the announcement. And he's up there doing a set, and he just sees the Blue Man Group pro, and in the middle of the set, he goes, what the fuck?
See, he went for it.
He went for it, but he didn't know.
Of course he didn't know.
He didn't know.
Nope, didn't know.
Because he wasn't there. So maybe, but again, completely valid reaction. And the Blue Man didn't say anything. He just walked right by.
Right.
Although it would have been funny if the Blue Man was like, what the fuck? Hey, I told you. I'm blue.
Maybe I should have just said, what the fuck? To Squirtle. As he walked through the park.
I think you should have followed him.
I was really kind of tempted to see where he was going.
Just kind of,
not gonna lie,
take a little bit of distance, and then just follow him.
Exactly, be like, where are you going?
Because he would be able to see you in that mask.
It was a giant fucking like cosplay Squirtle costume. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I was just like, but then the other part of me is like, are you a furry? And you're just
maybe
out,
he's off to
and you're just out for a stroll on this lovely day. Totally understand. But it was just such an odd thing to see with no preparation.
Maybe it'll happen again. I don't know.
It never happened again, and I'm kind of sad. I really wanted to see Squirtle again. Or maybe next time I'll see him, it's a whole bunch of Pokemon.
There's a bunch of people just following with their phones, trying to capture him. Which reminds me, I just read a...
Was it about the LAPD officers who got in trouble? Yes. They got in trouble because they ignored a call for a robbery because they had to go catch a Snorlax.
That's a pretty subordinate thing to do, but it's also, I feel like, a very LA thing. I don't know why. It just feels
it's something that would happen on a TV show. It would happen,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
How do we not know it wasn't a TV show?
Well, apparently it was real.
Apparently it was real.
Apparently they didn't do their jobs and they just went hunting for Pokemon. But you know what? Maybe that was for the best.
Anyways, Wally figures out, because he sees this dude in the window, because he follows like a path where he thinks this guy walked, and he's like, oh, look, there's his house. And, he goes and knocks on the door, and he's like, motherfucker, give me my speed back.
How do you...
He says, open up, Howie. I'm taking you in for robbing that bank.
How do you steal the speed?
I don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. It's just something that happened with lightning. Because we actually know what it was is that Wally got his powers just as Barry got his powers because lightning
struck all those chemicals. Right.
And lightning and chemicals give you powers.
Right.
So remember that.
I remember that.
But
so when the lightning hit did it switch his power to this dude?
Yeah, it switched his power to this dude.
Oh. Fickle. No chemicals needed.
Because maybe there was some sort of, when we were hit by lightning, it created an electromagnetic field which affected the chemicals that originally gave me my super speed and transferred them to Howie.
So what, is he just like constantly soaked in chemicals?
And maybe because they're in his blood and like he was sweat. I don't know. Was he secreting?
How does he not have every kind of cancer?
You can say that about a lot of superheroes.
Very true.
Man, we're really digging in on this stuff here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy comes out of his house and he's like, fuck you, I'm not giving you a speech back. And so they start fighting. And Wally, being the superhero, with experience and deductions and whatever and combat, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to stop this guy and get my speed back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to first hit him with a stick and then grab the power lines.
Oh.
And he's like, and essentially, he's like, I'm going to electrocute this motherfucker.
All right.
As he runs toward me, which if brother has master, the super speed.
Think he could stop before
you think you'd be like, oh, the Flash is standing there with a live power line. Maybe I should stop and run away.
You would think.
But he does not.
Nope.
And so he runs right into Howie runs right into Wally. And they have a embrace full of energy. And Wally gets his speed. Wally gets his speed back.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I gotta hang out that girl.
I have to go.
I gotta get that nooner. Yeah,
because I'm
middle of the day sex.
Is that from something? I know where I heard it from.
What?
Nooner.
Oh, I don't know if it's from anything specific. I feel like I've always kind of just known the term.
The reason why I know it is because there's an episode of Married with Children where Peg tells Al that he gets some nooner when he's at the shoe store, and Al like loses his fucking mind because he's like, nooner.
I thought he hated having sex with Peg,
but he really likes nooner.
I don't remember that episode, but maybe that's where I learned it because I feel like I watched.
That's where I remember it from.
I watched every episode of Married with Children, but he hated having sex with Peg.
I don't know why.
Right?
Peg, nothing wrong with Peg.
Katie Seagal
at the height of her powers in the 80s.
Right?
Looking great.
Late 80s, early 90s, looks great.
Yeah, but he was really excited for nooner.
Who knew?
There was episodes where he would be like, all right, sex.
Right, but most of the time she was like begging him for sex and he was always like, no, and he like refused to have sex with her, which I don't understand why.
He always reminds me of that Simpsons joke where it's like, Al, let's have sex. No, toilet flush. So, I also remember the Mad Magazine parody, Buried with Children.
Oh, God.
Anyways, that's it. There's a lot to unpack in this comic.
Yes.
And, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't care about Kid Flash.
Next issue is the origin of his costume.
Wow. Something I need to know. I mean, I like reading these, I love these weird Bronze Age shit. So I would definitely read this next Flash issue, but I don't think I'd read the Kid Flash issue or the Kid Cash issue.
No, I wouldn't read the Kid Cash issue.
Yeah, I don't care about that. But I mean, I'd like to see Barry getting frozen and maybe that guy coming back to life.
See, I'm interested in that.
Riding a polar bear to his rescue. I don't know what's going to happen.
Just riding a polar bear husk.
Yeah.
Or he glued all the polar bear hair
to him. It's like when Luke Skywalker put himself in whatever the fuck that thing is.
That's right.
Whatever it is, what
These things smell terrible, but I'll save your life, kid.
He's like, I'm just going to wear it like a fucking Snuggie. And that's what that guy does, that polar bear husk to go save Barry.
If Flash in 1978 had Arctic explorers wearing animals, man.
You don't know it doesn't happen.
I don't know because I don't have the next issue.
We don't have the next issue, and the Bronze Age was very weird. But you know what? You might not get it in the Bronze Age. I bet you in the Silver Age.
In the Silver Age, we're totally wearing animals.
100%.
Superman wore so many animals back in the Bronze Age.
Somebody came up with Bawana Beast, babe.
They sure did. I have that issue. I have his debut issue.
I mean, that's just a fucking nightmare right there.
Why is Bawana Beast not a bigger thing?
Because it's terrifying.
But Jesus Christ, it's so
He's
weird.
Smashing animals together. It's horrible. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute torturous nightmare. These poor animals must suffer for the rest of their lives because they've been smashed into something else.
How Bawana Beast?
Do they ever de-smash?
No, they come apart. How Bawana Beast?
Fucking puzzle? What's going on over there?
How Bawana Beast managed to appear in anything else other than the debut issue he appeared in is a miracle.
You're right.
Because in the 70s, or I think it's late 60s or whatever.
I don't know if this is acid is a hell of a drug or cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I think acid.
Right?
Acid and weed. I don't know if cocaine's.
I feel like it's got to be like shrooms or something. Like,
yeah.
Somebody took a bunch of them and went, you know what? And
but they did it, but then people had to have written into to DC and be like, give us more of that. Because that's how that works.
They were also on shrooms. And they also didn't stop to think about the implication.
They wrote, the letter just says, I'm on shrooms. And they went, clearly they want Bawana Beast back.
I'm on shrooms. And then they just drew Bawana Beast mask.
Yeah,
and
right?
It was like, the people, they obviously have spoken.
Just tons of letters. Just covered in tie-dye. Just says, I'm on shrooms. Oh, man, this Bawana Beast is hot. Maybe I try to think. Have we ever done the Bawana Beast origin?
I don't know, but I think it would be really funny if we had a shirt that just said "I'm on shrooms" and had like a little shitty drawing of a Bawana Beast mask at the bottom.
I'd buy that shirt.
Worst collection ever.
Yeah, yeah. If we didn't get sued by DC for having a Bawana Beast,
It'd be a really shitty Bawana Beast. So you could argue it's not a Bawana Beast.
It's a parody.
It's a star. It falls under fair use because it's a parody.
That's right.
There you go. Kiss my ass, DC.
Anyways, thanks for listening. You know what's funny is we always sit there and we do these episodes and we're like, man, we should hurry up and get through this episode. And
then we take 2.5 hours.
Hour and a half at this point.
Jesus fuck.
Because we're just fucking riffing. We're riffing.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, thanks for listening. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Angry Hill Sean.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the show on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever, and email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com.
And please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, which I still have to do that for our own show. I have to check out that star system or whatever they've started.
Oh, yeah.
And Deezer. Deezer, which if you're in France, apparently Deezer's a big deal.
Oh, okay.
Deezer.
Okay.
So I kind of think that's Stitcher.
Bonjour.
Yeah. Bonjourno.
Bonjour.
Anyways, yeah, so check us out for that. And yeah, thanks again for listening, folks. And we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.